Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered where your energy went? You're doing all the right things, eating better, walking more, trying to stay active, but somehow something still feels off. Maybe it's the motivation, or maybe it's that quiet struggle you don't talk about, the one that affects your confidence, your intimacy, your sense of being alive. If you're in your 60s or beyond and feel like your strength and spark just aren't what they used to be, you're not alone. I'm Dr. James Wood. I've spent over 20 years helping men reclaim their vitality, not through risky medications or complicated routines, but by understanding what the body truly needs as it ages. Testosterone, the hormone that fuels energy, performance, and even mood, starts to decline naturally after 30. But here's the encouraging part. With just a few smart changes, starting with 3 common vitamins, you can feel a real difference in as little as 3 days. That's not hype, that's science. And in this video, I'll walk you through the exact nutrients I recommend to my patients to boost testosterone naturally and safely, even after 60. You deserve to feel strong, driven, and deeply connected again. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This way, you'll always stay in the loop with straightforward, research-backed health tips made just for folks over 60. And here's a small favor. If you find this video helpful, type boost in the comments. If not, type skip. Your honest feedback helps shape better content tailored to your needs. Let's get started. Vitamin 1. Vitamin D, the sunshine powerhouse for testosterone after 60. Let's talk about the one vitamin I often call the silent strength restorer, vitamin D. If you're over 60 and struggling with low energy, foggy thinking, poor sleep, or fading intimacy, chances are high your body is running low on this crucial nutrient. I see it all the time with my patients. They'll come in complaining of vague fatigue, low mood, even trouble performing in the bedroom. And their labs often show a simple, silent problem, a vitamin D deficiency. But here's the kicker. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin. It functions more like a hormone. And hormones? They run the show, especially testosterone. In men over 60, testosterone naturally begins to decline. That's part of the aging process. But when vitamin D levels fall too low, this decline speeds up. Why? Because vitamin D helps your body manufacture testosterone. Think of it as the raw material your hormone factory needs to keep producing. Without enough of it, the machinery slows down. And with it, so does your performance, energy, and even your desire. Here's what I tell my patients. You might be doing everything else right. Eating your greens, walking every morning, avoiding sugar. But if your vitamin D is too low, it's like running an engine without oil. It's going to wear out sooner, and it won't run as efficiently. Now, here's the good news. Restoring vitamin D levels is simple and powerful. Research shows that just a few days of proper vitamin D intake can begin resetting the testosterone process, boosting both mood and bedroom confidence in as little as 72 hours. You may not become a superhero overnight, but many men report feeling clearer, more awake, and more interested in connection within a few short days of correction. Let's dive a little deeper into how this works. When sunlight hits your skin, your body naturally begins to produce vitamin D. But here's the catch. As you age, your skin becomes less efficient at making it. On top of that, many older adults avoid sun exposure due to concerns about skin cancer or because they simply stay indoors more often, especially during winter or in colder climates. Add medications that interfere with vitamin D absorption, and it's easy to see why deficiency is nearly epidemic in men over 60. But how does that connect to testosterone? Vitamin D interacts directly with the Leydig cells in your testicles, the very cells responsible for producing testosterone. When these cells are starved of vitamin D, their testosterone output can drop dramatically. Conversely, restoring vitamin D gives these cells the fuel they need to kick back into gear. It's like flipping the switch on a slow-running engine. In fact, one study published in the journal Hormone and Metabolic Research found that men who took a daily vitamin D supplement for years saw a significant increase in testosterone levels compared to those who didn't. The difference was enough to improve energy, sexual health, and emotional well-being. And that was with just 3,000 IU per day, a dose most adults can safely tolerate. So how much vitamin D should you be getting? Here's what I recommend to most of my patients. Have your levels checked first. You want to know where you're starting from. An optimal blood level for vitamin D is usually between 50 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. If you're deficient, which means under 30 nanograms per milliliter, I usually suggest a daily supplement of 2,000 to 5,000 IU, depending on your health status and sunlight exposure. Make sure you're taking vitamin D3, not D2. D3 is the more active, absorbable form your body can use efficiently. Pair it with vitamin K2 when possible. These two vitamins work together, especially to protect your heart and bones. Now, let me make something clear. Vitamin D isn't a magic bullet. It won't erase all signs of aging, and it certainly won't replace the deeper need for movement, healthy food, and emotional connection. But what it will do is help create the biological conditions your body needs to produce testosterone naturally, without risky shots or synthetic pills. Here's another interesting detail. Low vitamin D has been linked to poor sleep quality. And as many men over 60 know, sleep is critical for testosterone production. Your body makes most of its testosterone while you sleep, particularly during the REM stages. If your sleep is shallow or interrupted, your testosterone levels will suffer. Boosting vitamin D can help restore deeper, more restful sleep, especially if insomnia or nighttime waking has been a struggle. So when I see a man in his 60s who's feeling sluggish, frustrated, and disconnected from the person he used to be, one of the first questions I ask is, how's your sunlight? And are you supplementing your vitamin D? I've had patients return just a week or two later and say, Dr. Morgan, I don't know what you did, but I feel better already. It wasn't a miracle drug. It was vitamin D, and their body finally had what it needed to heal, rebuild, and perform again. And let's not forget the mental and emotional benefits. Low vitamin D has been strongly associated with symptoms of depression, irritability, and low confidence. When your hormones are out of balance, everything feels harder. Restoring that balance is like lifting a fog you didn't even realize was there. If there's one piece of advice I could give every man in his 60s or 70s, it's this: don't underestimate vitamin D. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's minor. Sometimes, the simplest solutions are the most powerful. So, to wrap this up, if you're feeling off, tired, or just not yourself, start with this small step. Get out in the sun for 15 to 20 minutes a day, if your skin allows. And talk to your doctor about a safe vitamin D3 supplement. It's cheap, it's easy, and in many cases, it works fast. After all, feeling like yourself again doesn't always require a complete life overhaul. Sometimes, it's just about restoring what your body was missing all along. Vitamin 2. Zinc, the masculine mineral that revives testosterone fast. Let me tell you something I see almost every week in my clinic. A man in his 60s or 70s walks in, usually a little frustrated, often a little embarrassed, and says something like, Dr. Morgan, I just don't feel like myself anymore. He's not just talking about fatigue or poor sleep. He's talking about something deeper. A quiet but constant decline in drive, performance, confidence, and intimacy. And every time, one of the very first things I check, his zinc levels. Zinc is a humble mineral, often overlooked, but it plays a massive role in your testosterone production. In fact, it's one of the most essential building blocks your body needs to make testosterone naturally. Without enough zinc, your testosterone can fall fast, and it doesn't take much of a drop to start feeling the effects. Here's what I tell my patients. If your testosterone is the fire that fuels your strength, motivation, and intimacy, zinc is the match. And if you don't have that match, no matter how much wood you stack, the fire won't catch. So what does zinc actually do? Zinc acts as a cofactor for more than 300 enzyme reactions in the body. That means it helps regulate everything from immune health to wound healing to digestion. But one of its most vital roles for men, it helps the pituitary gland release luteinizing hormone, the signal your brain sends to your testicles saying, hey, we need more testosterone. No zinc. That message doesn't go through, and your testosterone doesn't get made. Here's what's even more surprising. Studies show that even a mild zinc deficiency can significantly reduce testosterone levels, sometimes by as much as 75%. That's a staggering number, especially considering that nearly half of older adults aren't getting enough zinc from their diets. Let me walk you through an example I'll never forget. I had a patient, John, 68, recently retired, active, good diet, doing all the right things. But he'd been feeling increasingly sluggish, low libido, and had trouble maintaining muscle despite working out 3 times a week. His blood work came back with low normal testosterone and very low zinc. We added a simple 30 milligram zinc supplement each day, along with some minor changes in his diet. Within 10 days, he came back saying, "It's like I woke up from fog. More energy, clearer mind, stronger interest in life again." He didn't change everything. He just gave his body the mineral it needed to turn the engine back on. So where does zinc go, and why do men over 60 lose it? There are a few big reasons. Aging lowers absorption. As we age, our stomach acid decreases. Zinc needs strong stomach acid to be absorbed. That means even if you're eating enough, your body might not be pulling it in. Medications interfere. Common medications for blood pressure, acid reflux, and even antibiotics can block zinc absorption. Stress and inflammation deplete it. Chronic stress, which is more common with age, burns through your zinc stores fast. Poor diet. Zinc is mostly found in animal products like red meat and shellfish. If you've cut back on meat or follow a low-protein diet, you may not be getting enough. So, what happens when zinc is low? Testosterone drops. But that's not all. You may also experience frequent colds or infections, delayed wound healing, brain fog or memory trouble, hair thinning, loss of taste or smell, loss of motivation and desire. Sound familiar? These are the kinds of symptoms that sneak up on men, and they don't always know where to look. But the truth is, low zinc can create a full cascade of hormonal problems that look and feel like aging, when they might just be deficiency. The good news? This is one of the fastest vitamins to correct. Zinc starts working within 3 days of consistent supplementation. Some men report more vivid dreams and better sleep in just 1 or 2 nights. Others feel their energy and bedroom performance pick up before the end of the week. Here's what I usually recommend. Zinc picolinate or zinc citrate. These forms are well absorbed. Avoid zinc oxide, which is less bioavailable. Start with 25 to 30 milligrams daily. This is safe and effective for most men. But don't go over 50 milligrams without speaking to a doctor, because too much zinc can deplete copper and cause stomach upset. Take it with food. Zinc on an empty stomach can cause nausea. I tell my patients to take it with lunch or dinner. Cycle if needed. Some men benefit from taking zinc 5 days on, 2 days off to keep absorption fresh. You can also add more zinc-rich foods to your plate. Some of the best natural sources include oysters, the king of zinc, beef and lamb, pumpkin seeds, cashews, chickpeas and lentils, eggs. But again, even if you eat these, absorption can be a challenge in older adults. That's why I almost always recommend a gentle daily supplement, at least to get your levels back to normal. And just like vitamin D, zinc also affects sleep, recovery, and brain health. It helps produce melatonin, the hormone that regulates your sleep cycle. When you sleep better, your body naturally makes more testosterone. That's how the cycle works: better nutrients, better sleep, better hormones, better you. One last tip. Zinc also plays a role in prostate health. And as you know, many men over 60 are at risk for enlarged prostate or frequent urination at night. Zinc has been shown in studies to help reduce inflammation in the prostate gland, which can improve urinary flow and comfort. So what does all this mean? It means if you're feeling off, tired, uninspired, less connected to your masculine energy, zinc might be the missing piece. It's not a hormone or a drug. It's not dangerous. It's something your body already needs every single day. And when you supply it in the right way, you give your system a chance to reset. I've seen men regain their strength, their edge, and their confidence just from this one small change. You don't need to accept decline as inevitable. Not when your body is just asking for the right materials to heal. Start today with zinc. Just one small step, And in 3 short days, you might feel the difference between giving up and coming back stronger. Vitamin 3, magnesium, the unsung hero of testosterone, strength, and sleep. If there's one nutrient I wish more men over 60 knew about, it's magnesium. It doesn't get the spotlight like vitamin D or zinc, but make no mistake, magnesium is a testosterone multiplier, and it can change your life in just a matter of days when it's added correctly. Now, I want to begin by telling you something most doctors won't. Magnesium isn't just nice to have. It's absolutely essential, especially if you're feeling weak, tired, anxious, moody, or just not like yourself. And it's not rare to be low in magnesium. In fact, up to 80% of adults over 50 are deficient, and it gets worse with age. So how does magnesium relate to testosterone? Let me explain the real story. Testosterone doesn't just float freely through your bloodstream. A large portion of it gets bound to a protein called SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin. This protein acts like a sponge, grabbing your testosterone and keeping it active. The more SHBG you have, the less free testosterone your body can use. Here's where magnesium becomes crucial. Magnesium reduces SHBG levels, which helps increase the amount of active, usable testosterone in your system. And it gets better. Magnesium also improves sleep quality, muscle function, nerve health, and even mood regulation, all of which are critical for healthy testosterone production. Poor sleep, chronic stress, and muscle breakdown are some of the biggest testosterone killers after 60, and magnesium helps calm all 3 at once. I've had dozens of patients report noticeable changes in energy, clarity, and bedroom performance in just 3 to 5 days after correcting their magnesium deficiency. The effects can be surprisingly fast, especially if your body has been starving for it without you realizing. Let me share a real case that still sticks with me. My patient, Harold, 67 years old, came to me complaining of insomnia, muscle cramps, low libido, and overall fatigue. He was taking a multivitamin and eating a decent diet, but something was clearly off. We tested his magnesium levels, and they came back below normal. I recommended 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate nightly, and within 3 nights, he called the office and said, "Dr. Morgan, I haven't slept like that in months." And I got my spark back. He wasn't imagining things. Sleep is when testosterone is made. If your body is magnesium deficient, you may never reach deep enough sleep to allow testosterone production to happen effectively. Fix the sleep, and you restart the hormone engine. Now, you may be wondering, how do we get so low in magnesium? There are several reasons. Modern soils are depleted. Our food simply has less magnesium than it did 50 years ago. Processing strips magnesium. If you eat processed foods, even healthy packaged ones, you're not getting much magnesium. Age reduces absorption. As we get older, our gut becomes less efficient at pulling magnesium from food. Common medications, diuretics, antacids, blood pressure pills, and even some antibiotics can drain magnesium levels fast. Stress burns through it. Emotional or physical stress forces your body to use more magnesium, leaving your tank empty faster. So what happens when your magnesium runs low? You feel fatigued. You struggle to sleep deeply. Your muscles feel sore or weak. You feel moody, foggy, or anxious. And yes, your testosterone levels can drop significantly. In fact, a study published in the journal Biological Trace Element Research found that magnesium supplementation raised free testosterone levels in both sedentary and active men. The increase was especially noticeable when combined with exercise. That means magnesium doesn't just protect testosterone. It amplifies its benefits, especially when you're staying active. So how do you start using magnesium the right way? Here's what I recommend. Choose the right form. Not all magnesium is created equal. For testosterone and sleep, the best types are magnesium glycinate, magnesium taurate, or magnesium L-threonate. These are gentle, highly absorbable, and don't cause loose stools like magnesium oxide or citrate often can. Take it at night. Magnesium supports deep, restorative sleep. I suggest 200 to 400 milligrams about an hour before bed. Don't take it with calcium. Calcium can compete for absorption. Take magnesium on its own, ideally away from other mineral supplements. Stay consistent. It takes a few days to build up levels in the body, but once you do, the effects often appear quickly. Now, let's talk food sources too, though they often aren't enough on their own. Magnesium-rich foods include spinach and dark leafy greens, avocados, pumpkin seeds and almonds, black beans, dark chocolate, yes, really, bananas. Still, most men over 60 will need a supplement to bring their levels up to optimal, especially if they're dealing with sleep troubles, muscle loss, or declining testosterone. Here's something else fascinating. Magnesium also helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is a known testosterone killer. The more stress you have, the lower your testosterone tends to go. Magnesium helps buffer that stress response, keeping your hormones in balance even during life's ups and downs. So when I see a man who's tired, anxious, sleeping poorly, and feeling flat in every area of life, I almost always start with magnesium. It's safe, it's affordable, and in many cases, it's life-changing. But let me make one final point here. If you're taking vitamin D, you need magnesium. Why? Because magnesium is a cofactor in activating vitamin D in the body. Without enough magnesium, your vitamin D stays inactive, and that means your testosterone stays low. These vitamins work in harmony. When you combine them, with zinc included, you create the perfect biological environment for testosterone to thrive naturally. So, to wrap this up, magnesium is the missing piece for so many men over 60. It doesn't just help testosterone, it helps everything that supports testosterone. Sleep, stress, strength, recovery, mental clarity, sexual function, all of it. You don't have to live in a fog of fatigue and frustration. Your body is trying to tell you something. And in many cases, it's simply saying, give me what I need to do my job. So tonight, before bed, try taking 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate. Let your body rest, let rebuild, and see how much can change in just 3 days. I want you to take a moment just for yourself and breathe. If you've been feeling like your best days are behind you, I want you to know that's simply not true. You just learned about 3 common vitamins, vitamin D, zinc, and magnesium. Simple nutrients, yes, but don't underestimate them, because they support the very core of what makes you feel strong, alive, and connected. Your testosterone, your sleep, your mood, your performance. I've watched men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim their spark by making just a few small changes like these. And I believe you can too. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about honoring the man you still are and giving your body the support it's quietly asking for. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just real science, simple habits, and your willingness to take the first step. If you made it this far, I want to thank you. You're part of a growing community of men who are not giving in to decline, but rising into strength, naturally, confidently, and on your own terms. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a new video. I also invite you to watch the next video I've linked here. It's packed with practical tips for boosting circulation and intimacy after 60. You're not alone on this journey, and you're not done yet. Let's keep going stronger together.